If we are live, I apologize. I'm waiting for my broadcast to come in. It is Friday, February the 12th, and we are going to talk about Sasquatch. Apparently, I'm live. Hello, everybody. Coming to you live from a closet somewhere up in northern Canada. My name is Todd Standing. I'm the man who takes people out in the field and has them either live interact with or eyewitness a Sasquatch. Is this ever funny? Look at this. Mother of all bins right behind me. This is awesome. All right, guys. We're going to do some questions today. I guess I have to start. SoCal Force Ninjas. Hiya! I always want to do that. I don't know why, because it's a ninja. Hiya! I don't know why. It just feels fun to do that. I wanted to start with a question from last week that I didn't get to answer, and the gentleman emailed it in. I can't remember who specifically it was, but he's apparently having a lot of difficulty with, I'm going to try, I don't want the mother of all bins in the back, because Sasquatch won't leave his property. So he's tried to scare them off, and he doesn't want them around his property. So I thought I'd talk about that just for the first minute or so. Ways to get first of all, I wish you wouldn't want the Sasquatch to leave your property. I think it's a wonderful gift to have them there, and I think it sucks that you want them gone. Try to remember that Sasquatch, the first thing I'd like to try to convince you to do is not want the Sasquatch gone off your property. It's a wonderful gift to have them there. Obviously, if they wanted to harm you or hurt you or kill you, you would be dead. So, know that. They probably watch you. I would expect there's something they like about the area. But so let's go in. So let's say I'm not going to convince you. You want them gone. You don't like the Sasquatch. That's very unfortunate. It's really, really unfortunate. Again, if you'd like to reconsider, and let's maybe talk about for a minute all the advantages of how awesome. I mean, if you have a Sasquatch on your property, wow, that would be like a dream come true for me. And this discovery is so important to human beings. It's so important to the world. And so many, when a Sasquatch are around me, I feel safer. People talk about the fear and everything. I carry a gun when I walk around. If I'll draw it when I think it might be a bear or a mountain lion. I'll draw it when I hear a sound. As soon as I'm aware it's a Sasquatch, I holster my gun because they will not allow any harm to come to me. If a Sasquatch is around, a bear's not going to be around, a mountain lion's not going to be around. I'm not going to be in danger, and I feel very safe when they're around. So I guess I wanted to start that with that, is try to, and look at all these people on here. Look at all the people that follow me. Look at all the people that watch and are interested in the subject of Sasquatch, because it's not because people are afraid of them. It's because they're a wondrous, amazing, fantastic species. So anyways, I wish there was more I could say to convince you to not want them gone from your property. But if you do, that's fine. So let's talk about what's going to bring a Sasquatch around. So obviously they're very spiritual beings, so perhaps the area is precious to them. How long have you lived on your property? Maybe it's their home range. Maybe they were born and raised there. Maybe they feel comfortable and safe there. Deer will come around and be close to cities, or even close to where I live in Radium, where the Radium Sasquatch research site is. There's bighorn sheep that live in town because they're safe there. They feel safe. The mountain lions and the wolves and the bears don't hunt them there so prolifically, and they live there and eat the grass. So maybe it's a safety thing. However, I don't think that's it, and you don't think that's it, and you don't think it's a food source. You don't think there's food sources around your house. So the last things that I would talk about and I would consider is the other primary motivator in species is sex. Whitetail bucks are hunted in the rut, and they're a lot easier to kill because they're just sex crazy. I mean, let's face it, having sexual desires is what forces a species to procreate. Maybe force is not a good word, but so what I learned is working on reserves with native people is the Sasquatch, especially males, would come around when the females were ovulating or at that time of the month. So because Sasquatch and gorillas and chimpanzees and bonobos and human beings all have cycles that are the same. And if you don't know this, the gorillas at the zoo that I studied, they give them human birth control pills in human cycles because that's how close we are to them. And if you know about like dogs and horses and just any other animals come into, they have a season. With primates, we don't have seasons. We have monthly cycles. A human being or a gorilla or a chimpanzee can become pregnant every month, in case you didn't know that. And the Sasquatch are going to be the same. So that would probably be a big factor. So if you can't tie it to food, you can't tie it to they need to be there, then I would ultimately tie it to maybe interested in women around, and then you go talk to the women, and if they're ovulating or if they're having their cycles, and that's when the Sasquatch are coming around a lot, then that tells you a lot about what's going on. Remember how closely related we are to them. They're the most man-like primate. Their genetic codes are going to be closer to ours, and even are they a different species? If it's true that they've bred with human females and had viable offspring that bred back into the Sasquatch, then by the definition of a species is two beings that can breed together and produce viable offspring. So a donkey and a horse are separate species because they make mules, and mules cannot procreate. Mules are sterile. And they're not, so horses and donkeys are different species. Human beings and chimpanzees are different species because we can't breed and produce viable offspring. Believe it or not, they've tried, and it doesn't work. So that is likely not the case for Sasquatch. So that's a whole ball of wax, right? Can you imagine that? If we're the same, they're not even a different species, which is what the DNA is telling us, and nobody's really talking about that. Again, really get that in your mind. If they're right, and it's in the genetic codes, and this is, hey Amanda, this is real stuff, guys. I've seen the DNA. I've seen it. I had a geneticist explain it to me. The Ketchum study, as it's called. It shouldn't be called the Ketchum study. It should be called the Erickson study. Adrian Erickson, that's his study. He got the people, he got the samples. He paid for it all to be done. So I don't know why Ketchum's getting all the credit for that. Kind of bothers me, because it's Erickson that did it all. Adrian Erickson is the man. He's the reason that the DNA exists. Imagine he produced and did all the work, and he literally, Melba Ketchum is an employee. He paid to do it. So I know she's kind of taken it off all her own, and I've met her and worked with her, and we are polar opposites for the way humans exist. I don't like to bash and say negative things about people, but we are absolutely opposite people. I've met her. I spent time with her in the field. We are completely the opposite on opposite ends of the spectrum. So, and even it bothers me that some freaking scientist goes out and sees a bear, and the indigenous people have known it's been there for, thousands. They've been there the whole time, but it's not real till a scientist says it, and the scientist never gives any credit to the people who showed him, that literally took his head and said, look there, look, see that, look now. He's like, oh, I see it, and then he gets all the credit for it. That ticks me off. I don't think that's appropriate. And in fact, that's my problem with scientists and PhDs, the arrogance they have of someone shows them and gives them the discovery, and they take all the bloody credit for it. That bothers me. And because it should bother all of us. Why don't the people it should be the tribe or the medicine man or the people, the indigenous people that knew about that discovery, that facilitated that discovery, that would have never happened if it wasn't for them. So that bothers me. So Kyle says, big fan, Todd. I'd love to go on an expedition with you. Well, then just apply, Kyle. Go to discoveringbigfoot.org and apply. I'm working on expeditions this month. I've been talking to people all day about that stuff. So it's very exciting. Even, I guess, so my plans, so I'm doing the expeditions. They're from mid-June to mid-October is usually when the snow flies. So that's what my expeditions are planned for. And then next year, I'm really hoping that I can go to the southern United States and do a little tour through Georgia, Alabama, all the way up, through Tennessee, and then up into Phoenix, because I have so many colleagues and friends and expeditioners that are through there, and I just I want to go do some speaking, like a speaking tour, maybe have a Discovering Bigfoot seminar. So yeah, Brad says Sasquatch know they can get in big trouble if they start killing people. Yeah, Brad. Do the Sasquatch know that if they kill a person, other people will come? I think they do know that, and I agree with you, but I have no reason. This is just complete speculation on my part, completely. I just think the Sasquatch know. Even somebody goes missing and then search and rescue goes looking. They're just highly intelligent, and of course they know. You're right, Brad. And I don't really need to, when you know the Sasquatch, when you really understand how highly intelligent they are, I mean, they know if you took a Sasquatch, the Sasquatch are going to go crazy, right? So, and I'm sure they've seen it. They've seen the cooperation in people. So I just agree. A species intelligent enough to know to do certain things to not be discovered would know that you don't want to kill somebody or have somebody disappear because search and rescue comes looking like crazy. But then again, they're making the tree structures. They're doing tree breaks. They're leaving tracks for us to find. So, are they really trying to hide? Who they? it's a perplexing subject. It's very rich, isn't it? It's very detailed. It's not just some simple thing. And of course it's going to be that way too. Remember, we're not talking about some bear, or bears have behavior, and they're very I can look at a bear and read it because I've had so much experience with them. I do that really well with dogs. I have a Rottie. I've grown up with dogs. I can whoop a dog's ass. I'm not afraid of a big dog. I know how to handle them. I have dog jujitsu. you know so anyways, the point in that is they're such an incredible intelligent species, but the fact that they're intelligent is going to create a diversity in their thinking. Some Sasquatch will be angry, some Sasquatch will be nice. It's just people are like that, right? And that's what you're going to get with this level of intelligence. So for Oaksla, I can't pronounce it. Can you translate to the Sasquatch that I want to train them in the sport of Sasquatch boxing? A little bit of humor there for us. Yeah, and Peter says if Sasquatch lives on your property and you don't want it, I'll buy it. Yeah, no kidding. So, but people, you love your property. Yeah. So, and I respect that they don't want the Sasquatch. I just thought I'd try to answer that question as best I could. So, yeah, let's go to the next question here. What do you say about people? This is from Matt Jennings. What do you say to people that say you fake the videos? My videos are real. I don't know what else to say about that. They're real. They'll always, as time goes on, more evidence will come out to substantiate that they're real. And what do I say to that? I'm taking people out and showing them Sasquatch after I've filmed them. So, what do I say? Don't take my word for it. Come out with me and I'll show you a Sasquatch. That is literally like when somebody says that to you. Okay, so that video is there. Like Joe Rogan. Hey, hi Joe Rogan. I have a Sasquatch video. Oh, fake as fuck. Well, come out with me and I'll show you a Sasquatch. And then you hear silence. Do you hear that? Yeah, that's what I get. So I CNN, BBC, NBC, CBS, all these major CTV news, all these major global news, I've talked to them all. I say, come out with me and I'll show you a Sasquatch. And you know what they do? We don't want to. Or I get a call, CNN, hey, we got a reporter. Give him a call, talk to him. This is when I was working with Survivor Man. So I'm not going to name the CNN reporter. Big name, going to come out, going to show him a Sasquatch. In the end, can't come out because it's too dangerous. This guy's been to Afghanistan under fire, and he won't come out and do a Sasquatch expedition. You know why? Because it's freaking dangerous. It's hella dangerous. You can't guarantee somebody's safety. There are bears and mountain lions. Going backcountry is so extremely dangerous. You call Fish and Wildlife or the police in the area, and they'll tell you have a 1 in 10 chance of dying going out into that area. What they don't attribute to is I've literally spent hundreds of days out there uninjured by animals, and I've taken out dozens of people, all of us uninjured. Why? Because I'm a wilderness expert trained by the best in the world, and the best in the world are the indigenous people that lived out here. Apparently, too, there was something last week that was really silly, where a couple weeks ago, where I said something about a native man, and I said the term Indian isn't appropriate or whatever. I wish people, and this goes even into, don't call them primates, don't say, can we get over verbiage? Why do we have to be so testy and so, can you not see my intent? When I call them Sasquatch or Bigfoot, I mean no disrespect. I'm not disrespectful for anybody. The term Indian, whatever, there's reasons for it. I don't want to get into it. If you're offended by little terminologies that I have, I don't really have time to waste with that stuff. I sincerely, if you don't think I respect and have the highest appreciation for the indigenous people, you don't know me. I'm trained by them, and I call them the best trackers that have ever lived. There's no arguing that. I have a deep admiration for Native Americans and the First Nations people. Deeply, deeply admire them. I have First Nations blood in me. I know it's about 1/16, but anyways, I don't want to get caught up in those kind of semantics. And if you're don't, for God's sake, people, let's get along. We can't just take little things and start fighting and arguing about it. Life is too short for that. If you can't see that I'm, I'll be sarcastic, I'll joke around. If you're gonna take me too seriously, then don't take me at all. Go away. I'm gonna make fun of things. I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna joke. And I'm going to make mistakes too, but I'm not disrespectful. I'm immensely respectable. Men, women, colors. I live in a multicultural society in Canada. We embrace all colors and creeds, sexual equality, all that kind of stuff. If you don't understand that about me, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not disrespectful. I'm not an angry person. And yeah, and I meant no disrespect, and I apologize if I offended you, but it's preposterous how I don't understand how somebody got offended. Amanda's been managing this, and thank you so much for that, Amanda. But just please, people, try not to get when I say little things, I'm walking on eggshells here, for God's sake. I call Sasquatch primates, and First Nations, Native Americans, all these different terms. We're all trying to get PC here, and I'm doing the best I can. So let's just take it step by step, and please accept my apology if you're offended for whatever reference. You don't like being called an Indian or First Nation. I don't know. I can't keep up with that PC stuff. I'm a good, nice man, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody. And if you take it that way, then I don't have time to waste with that crap. So, next question. Carter, running horse. Jacob says, Carter, running horse. My wife. Oh, I don't know what that means. Jake Fair, I'll ask my question later so many people come on. How do you feel about Sasquatch having white hair? I've never seen a white-haired Sasquatch. I've seen them gray. And the gray was very like salt and pepper, like it was gray with black. I didn't see anything that was, I've never seen a white Sasquatch. So how do I feel about it? I've never seen a white Sasquatch ever. So, and I've never seen footage. There was some footage of a white Sasquatch in Banff. It was fake. It was totally fake. They were at the Sasquatch Inn. They were trying to generate some views, and they did, and it was totally fake. So it was just for fun, a bunch of crazy guys. I'm not even mad about it. Whatever, it happens. So, you like the beard back? Thanks, Cheryl. There's more controversy. The beard, not the beard, get the beard. People got mad at me because I got rid of the beard. Like, what do you got against beards? Nothing. I just wanted to shave. Wanted a smooth face. So Forest Ninjas. Good intentions and love for nature will bring them around. I couldn't agree with you more. That's really just, love nature, and that's it. They smell funky but won't bother you unless you bother them. Tony Crawford. Yeah. I don't know. If you cross them, though, they can teach you a lesson. So they have territory, and if you go into their territory spot, they can be definitely aggressive. And then if you go into, I think this was a big deal. I haven't talked about this a lot. Burial areas. I think they have burial spots. The Native Americans in the United States and Oregon talked to a couple of colleagues of mine about a potential burial spot in caves, and they tried to go back there many times, and the Sasquatch were violent with them. And the native person they were talking to from Oregon, again, Oregon State, said he'd seen a skull, and he explained the skull, and that's why these two men, a police officer and a wildlife officer, were going there looking for these caves. And there was a number of caves for them to go through, and the Sasquatch were just really hostile towards them, to the point where they felt the need to fire upon them, and they asked me what to do about it, and I said, don't go there. Don't fire on them. You'll die. So, yeah, but just for Tony Crawford, I don't think it's not cut and dry. And you know what, Tony? Most of the time they don't smell. So the Sasquatch that I go study, gosh, it's very rare I pick up their scent unless I've done something to tick them off. There was the last time I had a real strong Sasquatch scent was when I believe they were hunting deer, and I scared the deer off, and it upset them, and then he got upwind from me, and he let me have a smell of them, just to say, you ticked me off today, buddy. I was hunting these deer. You screwed it all up, and I did. I screwed it all up. But, yeah, even that upset them, right? You just never know what you're going to do to upset them. Maybe they got a young one running around, and that's always problematic. If you think that when I know the sound that a young Sasquatch makes, if I hear it, I exit. There's certain things in nature, guys, you don't mess with. You don't mess with bears. I just leave them alone. They're predictable. I don't film bears. I'm not going to film bears. There are people that are bear experts that film bears. Good for you, and I have all the power in the world. That's awesome. Go film them. And don't do that. Bears just aren't my thing. I study them, and I know them well enough because I have to deal with them, and they have to deal with me. But I study the wolves. I love the wolves. I love the elk. I studied the deer for quite a few years. And, yeah, so, it's... Anyways, that's what I have to say about that. So, hi Todd, you're awesome. Thank you, War In For You. Keep up the great work. I definitely will. Kathy, my question is, do they telepathic speak to you? Well, Kathy, I'm actually being tutored by a lady who's trying to teach me how to communicate with animal species. And the Sasquatch, here we go with the terms, right? Now I'm going to get emails. Can't call them animals. I'm an animal. You're an animal. I'm an animalia. We're animals. If that bothers you, go get mad at science. It's the proper terminology. Am I animal, mineral, or vegetable? Animal. It's science. That's where it starts. Animal, and then it gets more specific. Primate, and then, Homo sapien. That's us over there. But generally, I'm a mammal. Is that better? Just so funny. Anyways, maybe I should say that. I'm doing mammal, but I am working on it. Obviously, to me, some people are empathic. Some people have uh, are very gifted with their uh, telepathic abilities. Telepathy is real. I don't know. And I convince anybody who talks to me in 3 minutes, I'll show you telepathy is real, and you'll go, oh, it is real. And I've never spoken to a single person in all my life, the biggest skeptic, closed-minded individual in the world, and I sit down with him, and in 3 minutes he goes, oh, I'm telepathic, and I've experienced it, and it's as simple as that. So if you want to know about it, come and hang out with me, and I'll tell you. All my expeditioners all know, never anybody I've ever met that said telepathy is not real after a 3-minute conversation with me. So Jacob A, yes, we got them howling and running around here in the dark. This is Cater running horse, and congratulations if you have that. I don't know. So uh, I just if you have Sasquatch running around and interacting with you, that is awesome. You're special. That's what I have to say about that. You're a special person. It's a special gift to be able to have the Sasquatch be around you, and congratulations. And I really hope that you can embrace that and enjoy it. I know there are going to be times, and I have talked to people where the Sasquatch are angry around them. And it sucks that conversation's coming up quite a bit. It really isn't good, but we'll do some more. Maybe I'll do a video about it. I'm just learning too. And, if people have advice for me, I'm grateful for that. I mean, we're a cooperation, all of us, right? That's why we're on here. It's not about me. It's about the Sasquatch and our cooperating to move this discovery forward. That's why I'm here. And you guys are amazing. So Leon Kirk Jr., awesome job, Todd. Thanks. Keep up the research. I will. Thank you. And thank you for your help, Leon. Steven Skoshtakat, I'm sorry, I'm so terrible pronouncing. I went into my area this past weekend. The new male is very playful. He tries to get me to come outside and look for him, but the new male tries to get me to go outside and search for him. That's awesome, Stephen. We'd love bigfootencounter@gmail.com. We'd love to hear more about it. You don't have to disclose your location. If you do disclose your location, probably better that you just tell us like the state or province that you're in. But congratulations. I'm getting stuff too. I'm talking to a wonderful person who's becoming a friend of mine from Scotland, and she's telling me they have them up in Scotland, and I really like her. She's really a smart, awesome girl, but how could they possibly be in Scotland? She's going to start showing me some information about that. I'm completely uneducated because, I'm a Rob Roy fan, but other than that, and I've seen videos of Scotland, and the land looks very homey to me. I feel like a spiritual connection to it. Well, and I'm half English, which is UK, right? But anyways, I'd love to hear more about that stuff. It blows my mind where people are seeing Sasquatch and having interactions with them. I was in Sweden, and I'm firmly convinced there are no Sasquatch in Sweden. Firmly, firmly, firmly convinced. I was boots on the ground there, and I did talk to people, and it's really just, it's more about just talking to people, the Indigenous. I have so much respect for the Indigenous people, the Highlanders of Scotland. I just go ask that. I would literally go ask the Scotland Highlanders, or the Highlanders from Scotland, do you have any history of this? If they say no, it's never nothing, then I leave. It's done. I talked to the Hawaiian people. Are there any Sasquatch? Ever heard of them? Nothing. Zero. Then I'm done. Why do I do any research? When the Indigenous people that know that land, that have been there for tens of thousands of years, maybe more, thousands of years at least, and they're boots on the ground, they know every nook and cranny, they've been through every rock. If they tell you there's no Sasquatch there, I believe them. I'm done. I appreciate what the Indigenous have to say. They know. They know their land. They love their land. People love their homes, right? We love that stuff. So just go to other people that have a passion for it and ask them, and you'll figure it out, right? So Mason Exploring. Yes, they will let you know when you get too close. 6 days ago, the crowd let them know I got too close. Then when I was leaving, they whistled at me. That's pretty cool. That sounds like Sasquatch behavior to me. It's funny. I remember I was out on an expedition with Randy Brisson, I could say his name, and even I was out with Sonia. We were in around the Vancouver area in a park outside of Vancouver, and the Sasquatch got close, and and they were throwing rocks that were missing us by 6 inches. As we were walking, a rock would just hit a tree and just miss us. I literally stopped, turned around, and said, no more. Like, you guys can't do that. That's way too close. You're scaring. Like, that's a rock thrown at least 100 yards, like a bullet hits a tree. The tree like smashes the tree, and was terrifying. And I literally turned around and said, we all said, you know, that's too close, it's too scary, don't do that. The next rocks that came were 10 feet away from us. And then you know, we said that's better. And then as we got back out on the road, the rocks were 20, 30 feet away from us. It was like they understood. So, and I've seen that happen quite a few times. I think that might be mind speak. So, anyways, but that's a little speculative. So, NY Sasquatch Seeker. Hey Todd. Hey Amanda. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Drink some juice here. My throat's a little dry. I believe everything you have to say about Sasquatch. This is from Rebecca Wykes. I always knew they were real. I don't know why I do. Yeah. Thanks, Rebecca. And if you watch documentaries, and if you know, you could believe that it's real because all the native people believe it's real. They all have a name for it. Sasquatch, Oma, Winchester-Tunga. I've learned new names that are not publicly known from indigenous people that are, you know, 200 miles from where I'm sitting right now. Winchester-Tunga means tall teacher. How cool is that? Tall teacher, right? So, and and then I say Winchester-Tunga when they were coming around me. This is when I was doing Nordegg research. I was talking to some native people around that area. And then I'd say Winchester-Tunga, and then I would say another term, and it would mean like peace, you know. So I'd say Winchester-Tunga, and then something else, and it would be like, "Hey, tall teacher, I'm peaceful," and it seemed to do something. I don't know. It was very interesting. So, what kind of sound do the young ones make? It's kind of like I've talked about it before. It's like a woo tok. It's a weird sound. And that was really, it's like a drop. You know, a drop. Can you hear that? So it'd be like woo. That's the best I could do. Woo. And then it would literally like a dripping sound. I know I must look like I'm a dumbass here, but it's a gentle whoop up, and then that drop sound. Whoop up. It sounds like a baby. It sounds young. I remember the first time I heard it, or the first time I really realized it was a young Sasquatch. I was in Montana. I was like, oh my God, that's a young Sasquatch. And I realized it because I'd heard it before, and I found small Sasquatch tracks, and then that day it came around, and it was just ringing in me like, this is the little guy, this is little guy behavior. And it was scary for me because I knew the big ones were there, the adults were there, and you don't mess with babies. Do silly little things. They run off in directions they're not supposed to, and it causes trouble. So I don't want to mess around with the young ones, and they can be so darn brave. So I saw a young one when I was leaving. They talked about it in an episode of Survivor Man Bigfoot. I saw probably like a 3 or 4 year old looking at me. Oh my God, he was beautiful. Like his skin was just black. Like you talk about black people, this is black. Like his fur is jet black, and his face just matched into it. His eyes were jet black with a bit of a glossy shine. When I looked at him, I was like, is that a rock? I was exhausted and tired, and then I saw him blink, and he kind of blinked and moved forward. I was like, oh my God, that's not a rock. And he was just gorgeous, like not a wrinkle on his skin. His skin was all tight. You know, like young gorillas have lots of wrinkles under their eyes. He didn't have any of that. He just looked, and maybe I just didn't notice it well enough, but his skin just looked firm, and he had a little bit of an afro, but all around, like it was down like that. And man, he wasn't afraid of me at all. It was very exciting. So I don't know, he must be, maybe that was Jacob, the young Sasquatch I'm dealing with right now. That's what sucks too, is I don't know who's what's where and what individual is doing what, because my information is so superficial. The Poodle Freak says, I live by Yosemite. Are they there? Would you love to see one? I would love to see one. Actually says, I live by Yosemite. Are there any there? I would love to see one. I've been to Yosemite. Yes. Look for the tree breaks. You know what I actually did? This is awesome. So there are these treadmills. I'm working out at the gym, and you could do a treadmill where it says, hey, go on the Yosemite hike. It was one of those cross-country skier things, right? So I'm on it, and I'm doing this Yosemite hike. So it's taking me through Yosemite. I'm going, tree break. This is a video. It's a video anybody can do. It's like, take a virtual hike through Yosemite. And I'm walking through this thing, and I'm like, dude! Like, a guy comes up to me, and he's a fan. He goes, hey, Todd Standing. I go, yeah, look at this. This is Yosemite. Look at the freaking tree breaks. And he's like, I'm going to do that. So he goes and does it. He goes, look, there's like 3 of them. And they're all pointed at the trail, just like right out of Survivor Man. But I've been to Yosemite, and they're absolutely there. Absolutely. You just, you probably want to go to a place that's not so popular. So, you know, maybe go a little, I don't want to say don't go backcountry, it's dangerous, but go a little off trail or something, and really just pay attention. Those tree breaks, man, they're gold. And I think you can do you can do a bloody you're walking along a treadmill doing a little virtue there, boom, oh, I'm looking for Sasquatch. I'm like, maybe they're hiding over there. It wasn't that. Obviously, a guy walked through with a big steady cam to film it. And the faster you go, the faster the video plays, right? But I'm slowing down like, whoa, I want to go in reverse so I can see that tree break again. Because, man, it's a tree break. Like, when you get to know what tree breaks are, it's pretty obvious. And in Yosemite, they're doing tree breaks. So, yeah, I was there. And there's Sasquatch in Yosemite, absolutely. It's going to be hard to find them. It's so hard to do this, guys. Really, like there are so many guys that are really highly skilled that are working on this. Even, I have a pretty amazing skill set. I do this full time. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to your donations. Thanks to the expeditions. Thanks to you watching the movie and watching the YouTube videos. All that stuff matters, guys. Share those things. All that. If you can't afford to make donations, share my videos. Tell people about me. Talk about my movie. Just get the word out there that all of you are working towards the discovery of Sasquatch. You must understand that. I want this discovery done. And the more we cooperate, the more we talk, you gotta be, I just saw a quote from Martin Luther King where it's like, real justice comes with truth. We have to stand up and tell the truth. I was just talking to somebody about that today. He's thinking, maybe we shouldn't make this discovery. Maybe people will do harm to bull. BS to that. Truth is truth. And the planet's in trouble, and humankind is in trouble right now. We could use some help, and they live on this planet, and we're damaging this planet, and they can come out and make a difference. They can. So that's what I asked for. I know there'll be problems. I know it's not going to be an easy thing, but they exist, and that's the truth. And I can't wait for this discovery. I'm waiting, and I'm patient about it. But I don't know, this discovery is really important, guys, so go work for it. Go help out. And you do make a difference. Sharing my videos on Facebook, telling people about them. Tell me there's always something you can do. So why hasn't anybody found a Sasquatch body? Well, I'll tell you this, all Army 13. I've spent thousands of days in the backcountry in my life. So has Survivor Man. I've never seen a mountain lion skull, never seen a mountain lion body. And if I ever did see if you found, like a Sasquatch skull would be the coup de grace. If you saw a Sasquatch skull, wow. Likely, though, since they're devoted to one another, and Giganto was putting their dead in a certain area, and so have Neanderthals, I'm strongly convinced that the Sasquatch are doing that as well, just based on interviews and superficial evidence. I'm very convinced they put their bodies in a certain place, and they take care of them, and they guard their dead, quite possibly. But even if they didn't, what the hell? How many? And who's going to tell the difference between an arm bone or a leg bone of an elk? People be out there, hey, look at this. I've seen people look at bear parts and go, oh, look, this is a Sasquatch. It's not. It's a bear. They look so similar to even people when they're dead and their bodies are breaking apart, right? So the right man to come along and identify bones from a Sasquatch is a forensic anthropologist. They're the ones that are really going to do it. How many forensic anthropologists are walking around backcountry? It's really a needle in 10,000 haystacks, guys. You're talking about an extremely rare species, and the odds of us finding a body just fluking along, it sure would be nice. It just hasn't happened, and this again, I talk based on knowing that Sasquatch is real, because Sasquatch are real. Don't take my word for it. I'm taking people out. I show them Sasquatch. 40% of people that came out with me this year and spent at least 7 days with me saw a Sasquatch. Oh, look, there's a Sasquatch. I see it. I'd be on an expedition. There was so much freaking Sasquatch around, and we'd seen it, and different people had seen it. I have to actually go to the expeditioner. I go, it was Atar. I go, so all this stuff, Atar, did you actually see a Sasquatch? He's like, oh yeah, that one time we did that, I saw it. I was like, oh, okay, because we had so much going on with Sasquatch on that particular expedition that I wasn't even sure who on the expedition and actually I didn't on that expedition. I didn't see, they were around and I could hear them, but I never actually definitively saw one, and all three of the other expeditioners did. So how crazy is that? But that I mean, if I was gonna make it that way, it's about the expeditioners. I really make that about the people and the networks and stuff. So hey Todd, do you think the existence of Sasquatch, which you have clearly proven, is being kept a secret by the governments? Well, it's better this way for the governments. That's another thing that the gentleman I spoke to today from Tennessee, he said that what's the government going to do? What about the damage they can do? I'll tell you something, guys. They already freaking know. They it's doing them. Don't you understand? The best way for a disease or a parasite or a plague to continue to function is to not say it exists. We have to if there's an issue, you need to recognize it and be ethical about it. And the best thing that can happen for fish and wildlife, and or whatever the government, whatever reason they don't want, and I know why, that it's a money thing. Of course it's better that they're not discovered for them. It's and I mean them as in the government. They can do more damage. You could wipe the whole species out. What's that? Nobody can say nothing about it, right? So it's the truth is always just, I know sometimes the truth, it does damage, and it's not an easy thing sometimes, but the truth is the truth. And if you're not about the truth, you're not about justice, then that's what I want. That's what I need to do. And I know, look at all you people that are so passionate. Thousands, tens of hundreds of thousands of people I've met. They're so passionate about this discovery, and it's so important to them. And are we going to quit? No. When the discovery is proven, we're going to go to a new level. You're not going to be alone. All you people that have been saying, hey, the earth is round the whole time, you're vindicated. And now it rises up. Primatologists can start studying them. We could start getting real information. And your minds are going to be blown by how incredibly amazing it is. People will say, no wonder we didn't discover them, because they're telepathic and they're so intelligent and they stand together and they move in this way and we didn't recognize. No wonder we didn't discover them. That's what's going to happen. And I'm going to go, oh yeah, I didn't know that was going to. Of course that was going to happen. Every new thing I learn about Sasquatch, and I am learning all the time. It's always, oh, that's another reason why we wouldn't discover them, because they do that, because they're like that, because they inhibit these special behaviors that would allow them to remain undiscovered. And that's my life with Sasquatch, is just like, wow, they're that amazing, that awesome, that brilliant, that spectacular. And it can really, this discovery, guys, is just going to change the world. There's some silly people that say, oh, well, it'll be no big deal when the discovery's made. Wrong. This is a huge deal. This is the deal of all deals. This is literally the greatest discovery in the history of our species. That's how big a deal this is. And if you don't really get that, you're gonna get it when the discovery's made, because it's coming. It is so big, and I believe that's why you're all here, and I believe that's why most of you are so passionate, and it's even why people get angry, because it seems so far-fetched. The most man-like primate is right here. It has been the whole time. It is far-fetched, but it's that much of a miracle. It's that amazing that, mind blown is just by the amazingness of it. Marvin says, Todd, has Netflix reached out to you for more great work? Semper Fi, United States Marine Corps. Netflix, I got word, it's unofficial because you can't get the numbers on Netflix, but in my documentary was released at the end of 2017. At the end of 2018, I got word from a guy who just quit Netflix and went to work for Crave TV, said, hey, you're the #1 documentary of all time on Netflix. I went, really? So I tried to contact them. They didn't really get back to me. I had to go through an agent. And I got you were the #1 documentary of all time on the biggest network of all time in 2018. I was very excited because I thought, wow, well, they'll pay for part 2. And what did they say? Yeah, go do part 2, and then we'll consider it. That's not how you do things. You don't go build a car for somebody and then you spend thousands of dollars and do all the work and then they'll think about it. So, and it literally, the only reason Discovering Bigfoot got done was a wonderful gentleman from Ohio called me and paid for it. And if it wasn't for him, there would be no Discovering Bigfoot. He literally put hundreds of thousands of dollars into it. And I spent years of my time putting that documentary together. And that's why it exists. It says in the documentary, this movie was made possible by C4, and that's the man. That's the only reason that documentary exists. Thank you very much, C4. He wishes to remain anonymous, but, and part 2 is happening. I don't know. I'm just eking it out because I'm not getting paid for it. So, or not, I can scrape by a living because I'm getting donations, because you guys are watching this YouTube channel because I'm doing expeditions. I can scrape by a living enough to make another documentary that'll pay me a pittance. I basically kind of break even. I'm hoping to break even this time. Last time would have been a huge money loss. But and isn't it crazy to think my movie, like one episode of Finding Bigfoot, one episode they'd spend hundreds of, let's say $300,000. It's probably more than that, but $300,000 for one episode. There's no one episode of Finding Bigfoot that could ever compare. You can't argue this. I don't care if you're a Finding Bigfoot fan or not. I have real Sasquatch footage, real PhDs, a real man out in the bush doing real tracking, and real eyewitness accounting of Sasquatch. It's a pretty amazing documentary. I can't see it. No one's ever done anything like it. It's amazing. And they wouldn't buy it and put it on Discovery Channel. And they made like, oh, it's so embarrassing because you're such a pathetic filmmaker. And I was like, that's a good production. I know what you're talking about. And then they played it on Netflix, Netflix played it, but Discovery Channel and History Channel and National Geographic Channel and all those very good. Destination America wouldn't play it because it was so embarrassing. Well, they played it on Netflix, and it was a top documentary of all time. So that's not the middle finger, just so you know. This is my I'm not tremendously pleased with you finger. So if I would have got $300,000 for it, I would have made part 2 and part 3, and it would have been awesome. And I would have maybe got the Discovery finished. I'm not getting the Discovery done because I don't have the financial ability to do so. Just with the money, this Discovery gets done. I don't like saying that. It bothers me. I'll bite my tongue when I say stupid things like that. But if I don't have the tools and the technology and the ability to do this, it doesn't get done. And all those things come from financial gain. That's it. I could go buy drones and blimp drones and have thermal cameras. It'd be like $500,000 and this Discovery would be finished. So it's frustrating. So, hey, I'm a princess. Thank you, Jonathan. Diane, hey, Todd, is one of the light brown Sasquatch in your documentary a female? The one standing behind the tree had such a feminine looking face, and it was so beautiful. Yeah, so aren't they all kind of behind trees at one point? But you can tell the female because she has no facial hair. She has no beard. Jake has a beard. You can't see video 8. It's video 4 is the one I call the female. And I'm very convinced she's a female. I didn't see breasts or anything, but my native teacher, I was calling him male, 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 and my native teacher had to look and go, oh, you filmed a female. Congratulations. You must have been very close to their main, like he was impressed. Even the fact that he just knew. I didn't tell him anything about what happened. He's like, oh, you got really close to them. Like you were really in kind of a dangerous spot if you're close enough where you're getting the females. I'm like, and I asked him, how did you know that? He just, what do you mean, how do I know that? I've been living here my people have been here for over 20,000 years, you dumbass, and I spent my whole life in the bush. So, yeah, I do think Jane was pretty, and yeah, I'm very proud of that footage. I look back at every piece of footage I have, and I'm so, because it's so freaking hard to get footage, guys, and people chastise me for it. I don't trust you anymore. You can't get new footage. Well, where's your new footage? Where's anybody's new footage? Where's the first piece of footage the mighty BFRO's ever got? I want to see one piece of footage that the mighty BFRO gets. One. That's their footage that they filmed based on their research, their information, and their people. 0. Finding Bigfoot, 0. 7 seasons of show, 0 footage of their own. So, you know, I know they have footage they attach to it, but some game cam that some other guy got or some, you know what I mean? So, oh yeah, no swearing. I thought Amanda was telling me I swore. I didn't. I'm not swearing. So, but yeah. So I'm not trying to be a jerk, but give me a little credit. Like Survivor Man's out there trying to get footage. He's amazing. He didn't get footage yet. Meldrum, Bennernagle, these are amazing human beings. Of course they want footage. They didn't get footage. John Green, Renee DeHinden, Grover Krantz. The list goes on and on. These men lived and died their whole lives devoted to Sasquatch. I admire them. Did they get footage? Nope. And you better believe. Hey, you know what, guys? I have video 8. Where's my little thing here? So I have, there's video 9 and 10 now. Yay! We got 2 new videos at least. So it's very exciting. It'll be in Discovering Bigfoot Part 2. There will be some new footage. It's just good footage. It's not great. It's definitely not the best I ever got. And yeah, so it was it was a hard year for me. And you know, yeah, this is this has been a really, really hard year for me, and I'm super grateful that I was able to get the footage that I did. And I expect that my life will, I have some major results happening, and I expect some really good things to happen from those results. And then my life will go up to a whole new level of just wonder and amazement. And then I can do some really good work this year. Your personal life, you get your ass handed to you. It's got nothing to do with Sasquatch, and it damages you, right? I think that when you're hurting and you're damaged, I see what I thought this year was that. So I am very hurting and very damaged by personal things that have gone on that have just been my worst nightmare. And I thought maybe the Sasquatch would come around and be healing and helping, and they're not. So it was good for me to understand that, because I've seen that too, where an expeditioner will tell me a sad story and make everybody upset, and then the Sasquatch don't come around. And then on another expedition, I'm telling jokes and we're laughing, and the Sasquatch come around. So it seems when you're unhappy, when you're sad, in my experience, the Sasquatch are not coming around, which sucks. It really sucks. But it kind of makes sense, I guess. They just aren't interested. Maybe they don't understand the negativity. Maybe they don't understand the unhappiness so well. Maybe they're alive. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But yeah, so that was this. So I'm just really grateful I got some footage this year that's decent. So yeah, 2 videos that'll be decent. Maybe some more. I have to check more stuff. I'm really behind, and yeah, just got a lot of work to do. So Fuzzy Tiger Cat says, I think Sasquatch must live more north of Yosemite because I've never seen any near Yosemite. Well, and they're not likely. I was kind of shocked that the cave hike for Yosemite that I did on the stepping machine, the virtual one, went into like a canyon. I've never been there for real. But I thought, well, it was on the way in that I saw the breaks, but you're not going to see them in that lower canyon area, obviously, especially because there's people there and little human bridges that have been made. So, but even I would just look for, I don't know, look for some sightings in Yosemite or in that area, right? Just, and if you got to be, let me tell you something. So, my native teacher doesn't like maps and doesn't, I don't know, he's very boots on the ground orientated. I was training in Elk Island Park with other snipers and ghillie suit wilderness experts. Elk Island Park is in Alberta. It's a bison park. They call it Elk Island, but there's elk there, but obviously it's mostly about the bison. So and there's no predators there for the most part. There's coyotes, there's no wolves, there's I don't think there's mountain lions there yet, and there's definitely no bears there. So anyways, I was telling my teacher that I was training there and learning about the different animals. And he actually asked me for the first, I couldn't believe it. He said, can I see a map of Elk Island? And I'll show you some stuff. So I showed him a map that had the trails and stuff on it. He literally told me, the elk are here, the whitetails are over here, the bison are going to run over here, and the moose will be here, 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 here. And he was completely freaking right. And I was like, what the hell did you just do? And then he explained it all to me, why they'd be here, why they'd go there, and it was like, it was amazing, and he was completely right about where everything's going to be, based on the vegetation, based on the terrain, based on the human presence and the trails. And even you'll see deer over here, but you won't see the big bucks. The big bucks will be right over there, and they'll stay over here, and they'll do this and that. And he was completely freaking right. I went into a particular area, and that's where the whitetail bucks were. And I'm like, what the hell? When they rut, the elk will be over here, and they'll do this. And he just had it all dialed in. And it's incredible what an expert can do. And man, I wish we had people like that, like biologists that would come and speak and talk, because man, the stuff just based on the terrain, you could know species need water, elk need grass, right? Deer are going to gravitate to certain things and certain ways to survive. And hunters, now elk populations are changing because elk are being killed based on what hunters and hunting season, and so everything changes, and now elk will survive based on staying away from human hunters, not the wolves and the bears and the mountain lions, because they're getting so wiped out, and lots of places don't have the wolves anymore, which is really bad. But thank you. See, so Susan Page says, "Oh my God, people are so sensitive." I get it. People have been bullied, and there's sore spots, but I apologize. I'm sorry if I mean no. When have you seen me show animosity and stuff? So there are people that like Melba Ketchum. I had a really bad experience with her. So, but I'm not going to sit here and bitch and complain about it. I hope things go well for her. She's just the opposite of me. And I mean no disrespect to anybody, and I am grateful for the scientific perspectives and views that she has. And I'm not gonna hate on anybody. I'm just different. I don't get along with some people. Some people don't like me, and that's okay. I am. This is me though. I'm not an actor. I'm not. You know what I mean? This is just me. This is raw me, and I'm gonna be really transparent with you guys. So if you're Amanda says if you're it's Cephisaurus, that's Amanda says if you're enjoying the show, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you all very much for your, I agreed. Thank you so much for all your support, and thank you, Amanda. Stu Cox, I saw the video with the telepathy woman. Amazing stuff. Recommended viewing. Yeah, isn't it cool? Man, that's heartfelt stuff. That's oh my god, I forgot her name now. Anyways, I have a video that talks about mind speak. Uh, Anna Bockenridge. She's got a really cool South African name, and amazing stuff. So many people doing that animal communication. It's in one of my videos. It's called like the Miracle of Bigfoot or something, and it is amazing, amazing miracle stuff. Like just mind blowing what that woman would accomplish speaking to a Black Panther. And if you want to look it up, it's Diablo the Panther is I think the video. You guys, if you haven't seen it, look at. Oh my God, it's what a miracle. Life is such a miracle. I just stunned. So Morg White says, how are you able to maintain your composure when in the presence of a Sasquatch? They ever sneak up on you while you're they sneak up on me while I'm unaware? A lot. In fact, most of the time. Most of the time I'm unaware of it. How do I maintain my composure? Well, it's maintain my composure or go do something else for a living. There's really just no choice. If you want to do this discovery, you better damn well maintain your composure. And it's hard. It's not easy. I get terrified. But I think they like that. They want to know that you're scared. They want to know that they're the boss. And I clearly see they're big dominant primates. And when they're dominating me and owning me and I'm being submissive to them, they respect that. They insist upon that. I think I'd probably get my ass beat if I wasn't respectful to them as I am. So but yeah, you gotta do it or quit. You know, that's if you're afraid of them and they're terrifying to you, then don't do Sasquatch research. So, right? I don't know what else to say. Being brave is do it or don't do this, right? It takes the apples from a tree, Colby says. Amanda's on there chatting, saying, watch my last video. How do they stay so quiet in the woods when humans make so much noise? Well, Brian, they're born and raised in the woods. They know how to move. Man, I can stay quiet, you know, and they're just at another level, though. I don't know. It's pretty spectacular, though. I know what you're talking about, Brian. Man, they're just deadly, deadly quiet, but there's so many things and so much to learn. Can you imagine, Brian? Like they're born and raised in the wilderness. All they know, they'll survive or die based on their ability to be stealthy. So they're designed for it. They're built for it. They're incredible at it. So it's species, you know. I've seen a mountain lion running through the bush and dive on a deer, and the deer never, literally a mountain lion running through the wilderness and jumped, and the deer's ears were pointed in the direction of the mountain lion. He didn't hear it. In fact, I think the deer kind of went, he popped his head up and went, did I just, and then he died. The mountain lion bit him in the back right here, and his just legs collapsed, dead. So quite the way to go. But you know, animals are absolutely incredible, amazing. If you don't get that, you know how hard it is to survive, especially in the north here where it's winters and snow on the ground 6 months. It's tough, man. It's brutal. It's cold. They never get a break. I have so much respect. Animals are intelligent and impressive. They have fear. They have emotions. I absolutely see this, and I know it's real. I have a dog. I love my dog. She's very emotional with me and loving and affectionate towards me. People say that animals don't have that stuff. They do. That's not. I don't think that's even good science. They're simply input output. They're programmed to feel. I know like alligators are really like that. Maybe fish you could say, but they're love and in deer and bears. I've seen a bear upset over her cub being killed, like really upset, like emotionally upset. It hurt her heart. Her baby died. So it's real. And believe it or not, that's a controversial attitude. I don't care. I'm controversial. Bigfoot's real. I'll show you controversy. So Dirt Driver says, um, my experiment was just south of Yosemite, the other side of the mountain from where Ron Moorhead records the Sierra Sounds. Oh, that is so cool. And I didn't know Ron Moorhead's Sierra Sounds were by Yosemite. That's a pretty big indicator that there's Sasquatch out there, because those Sierra Sounds are tremendously significant. I think that's really good evidence. I feel I'm firmly on the page of those Sierra Sounds are Sasquatch. So, and I don't have any scientific reason to say that, but it's entirely based on my opinion and my experience. But I feel those Sierra Sounds are just Sasquatch. It just rings so true to my heart. So Aldo says that was freaky when on your documentary when the apples got taken on the thermal. It wasn't thermal. I don't think it was thermal. It was just a night vision that I had that was not thermal. If you're talking, it was the green where it's all green, right? So that was just infrared. I literally had an infrared light, and then I had an infrared device over my camera. It was a hard night, but you know what kind of happens is you just get to a point where you're completely in shock and you're completely terrified, and what are you gonna do? You crawl up in a little ball and cry and start sucking your thumb, or you stand up and move forward. And I'm terrified, guys. You hear me, like, I'll go, ah, this is, like, I'm actually, like, ah, like, I'm scared like that. Just so we're aware. Terrified. But what am I going to do? If I curl up in a ball, what? It's not, and, you know what gets me through it, partially, too, is the amount of time and commitment and work I've put into this. I've sacrificed family and friends and careers. This is my whole life, guys. Like, this is a crazy obsession that, thanks to you guys, I'm able to do it full time. Like, people, how did John Green make a living? How did Grover Krantz was a professor, so he wasn't. I'm a full-time Sasquatch researcher. I talk to people and do this all day. This is my life now. I guess I'm a filmmaker, expeditioner, Sasquatch researcher, YouTuber. It's just all these all these things, all these areas allow me to do this full time, and I'm super super grateful. But if I couldn't move forward, then it's time for me to quit and go home. Jeff Meldrum told me that too. Like, he saw video 8, he's like, you had to go up there. When I did up there, he goes, good, because if you didn't go up there, it's time for you to go get a new job. And I agreed with him. He's being a little hard on me, but I like it when people are hard on me like that too. And Jeff Meldrum is like, he's a professor, he's a PhD. So he's got lessons to school me with, and I just smile at it. Jeff Meldrum is just amazing. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man. He and John Bitternagel, rest in peace. Same thing. Wonderful, wonderful man. Bison would kick Bigfoot's arse. Huh? I don't think so. I think a Bigfoot would just move around him. Bison are not agile enough. I can't see how a Sasquatch would take a boulder and smash it over a bison's skull. I think, yeah, a Sasquatch would really have very little trouble killing a bison, I think. I know, guys, I know it's a controversial thing to say. I can see them with boulders and, smashing things. And I mean, they kill elk and deer, no problem. Moose, Actually, I've never seen any evidence of a Sasquatch killing a moose, and I've never seen any evidence of a Sasquatch killing a bison ever. But I've seen elk that have been killed, the neck is broken, and deer heads twisted around, not smashed in skulls. But yeah, I appreciate your opinion, but and bison are beautiful, majestic, amazing creatures, but Sasquatch are just fast and agile and smart. They're just going to be. It's really the intelligence of it. Like, look at a rodeo clown. I had a friend who was a rodeo clown. He was a colleague that worked with me, and he'd start running hard when he felt the horns press up against his ass. This is a human being. Those rodeo clowns, man. They get the job done, and they can't move like a Sasquatch. And a bull, are they really more agile than a bison? Not really. But a Sasquatch are significantly faster and more powerful and more agile than a human being. So yeah, I would be strongly. And bison are flighty. They'll run. When you know the bison, when you live with bison and you know them, they're not a threat. You gotta be. They're beautiful, very predictable animals. And yeah, so anyways, Dirt Driver says my experiment. Okay, we read that one. The thermal. Robert did please send, that's Amanda Colby, random grammar. Sasquatches eat bug meat, right? Eat bug meat? I don't know. What's bug meat? Is that, you mean like maggots? I don't know. Never, yeah. Even what is bug meat? I don't know. Dove Camp, real Sasquatch in Old Testament, C1 Chronicles, chapter 12, verse 8. Thank you for that. Jeff Bridges, I've seen them 3 or 4 times. I know exactly where they are here in Tennessee. Please send me an email. I just talking to a guy from Tennessee. It'd be the 3rd person. What's going on in Tennessee? Smoky Mountains? Yeah, this is maybe even I think you'd be the 4th person in the last month that's come to me. And I saw the first one about a month ago. He had a really cool piece of footage, like a photograph of a Sasquatch in a lake area. This is, very blurry and stuff, but I was really interested in it. And then he got mad at me because I wanted to do a video on it, and so I didn't get to keep up with him. But you're the 4th, so please, bigfootencounter@gmail.com. That's for Jason Bridges, because I'm literally, even Amanda, you should know Amanda. There's a new gentleman that we have. He might be jumping on board with us. He's got lots of stuff, and he's right out of Tennessee. He's going to really commit to this, so he might be another person that's going to come help us out. And so I don't know, Tennessee, there's some very interesting stuff going on there. So please, Jason, it's right above your comment, Jason, is Amanda. It says Cephisaurus. It says bigfootencounter@gmail.com. And Amanda, if you get Tennessee stuff, let me know, please, because we're very interested in that. If it keeps coming up, let's roll with it, right? And today it was like, that was my big conversation today, was one of them was an hour on the phone with a gentleman from Tennessee that's got some impressive stuff going on. So there it is. Amanda already said it, Jason Bridges. I'm so far behind, I thought I was ahead. Well done, Amanda. Thank you. Central Michigan Bigfoot searcher. Very cool. And so you just, what did you think of the Michigan footage, that eagle footage, Central Michigan Bigfoot searcher? I was very impressed with that. That was on my Saturday video. Yeah, I was really impressed. It's an eagle cam. This looked very authentic to me. So thank you for showing that to me, Amanda. Nathan Cox, you ever do any research in Tennessee in the Great Smoky Mountains? Look at that, Nathan. So we got Nathan. What's going on in Tennessee? Tennessee? Are you kidding me? Let's do this. So yeah, that's great. Let's go Smoky. Well, you guys are out there in this. I'm not going to Tennessee this year. Again, my tour through the U.S. will likely happen in 2021. This year, I'm very committed to doing all the documentaries I have to do. California Bigfoot, Discovering Bigfoot Part 2, and then film for Discovering Bigfoot Part 3. So it's a lot of work. But next year, I really want to do a little tour in the southern United States of America. I talked to a gentleman from Tennessee all day today, and here's my Tennessee accent. He was a wonderful gentleman, and he says, you can't really tell I have a Tennessee accent, can you? I'm like, yes, sir, I can, and I like it. It's very, it's really nice. It's very authentic. So I want to say beautiful, but then he's a guy, and we'll call a guy beautiful. I think the Southern American accents they're just calm. I don't know. I really. And you know what? Embrace your accent, people. Don't be ashamed. Embrace and love where you're from, So maybe I should take some advice. I don't really appreciate do I have a Canadian accent? I don't know. 1 second here. Oh, live show. And the mic falls off. Big sneeze. Bless me. Thank you. I heard you all say, bless you, Todd. Thank you. Sharon Miller. Hi, Todd. I'm in the Bay in Canada. That must mean Hudson's Bay. I was wondering if there is Bigfoot here. We have a lot of forest around us, right up to the net to Lake Superior, literally right next to the lake. So in the bay, Thunder Bay has Sasquatch there. I've been to Thunder Bay, Ontario. They definitely have Sasquatch there. I hear tons of stuff all through there, all through the Great Lakes area, down into Michigan and Illinois, tons of Sasquatch stuff all through there. It's just really hard, guys. It's really hard to do this research. The Tennessee guy I was talking to today, he wants to go to this different spot, and I'm like, why? Just stay in Tennessee. You're home. It's so much work. Having a research site is so much work. It's so many years. It's so painful and painstaking, and the devotion and the time. It's so hard, guys. So hard. So I don't know what to say. People want to go out and see a Sasquatch, and that's why people wash out of this discovery so much, because it's so freaking hard. Like primatologists are saying, it takes 8 years before they can start hanging out with gorillas, you know? And I feel the Sasquatch are like the 8 years of hard work and determination before they start coming around you and, appreciating you and interacting with you. So it's, I don't even, you know what, I want to tell people, don't do it. Don't get involved. It's so hard. It's so much work. What if you never got a great piece of footage? What if you weren't lucky like me and had people like Jeff Meldrum and John Betternego and Survivor Man to help? Well, it's so hard. It's so hard. The reason I have success is I stand on the shoulders of great men. That would be the way I tell you to have success. Go stand on somebody's shoulders. It's way too hard to start this from ground zero. And why start it from ground zero? Look at this. Tennessee, Great Lakes, I see Nova Scotia, Alaska. It just goes on and on and on. Go work with somebody. Go cooperate with somebody. Go stand on their shoulders and help them, right? If you have good stuff going on, we want to help you. I'd like to have a Discovering Bigfoot Research Center in all states that have Sasquatch. So, let's make that happen. So, Bigfoot Research Vancouver Island. Mason, you do amazing stuff. Awesome. Vancouver Island is beautiful, amazing. That's where John lived the last years of his life. Jason Briggs, I'm in Nashville. I'll meet you. I'll meet you. That's awesome. Animal Breckenbach, the animal communicator. Thank you. And there's the freaking video. Amanda, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and this wonderful lady who lives in the United Kingdom is up here helping us out. Thank you so much. She is here because she is passionate and she loves Sasquatch, and I couldn't get rid of her if I wanted to, and I certainly don't want to. Amanda is the perfect example of, if you want to do something, if you want to get involved, just go do stuff and help out. Look at her. Watchman Ministries. I want to click on that. HTTPS Sasquatch. She's putting up all these links. The girl is she's just passionate about it, and good for her. So am I. That's why we make a great team, and team guys, and you're gonna butt heads, you're gonna have disagreements, stuff's gonna happen. I don't know. Be forgiving, right? That's cooperation. It's not that, I don't think it's that hard. Just be open-minded, and once in a while you're gonna disagree, and gosh, people, my distribution company really ticks me off sometimes. They do things that really piss me off, and I get really upset with them because they're very greedy, and they take so much. They take 99% of the money and I do 99% of the work. Does that make sense to you? They literally do 1% of the work and take 99% of the money, and yet they have points and they help me out, and I'm grateful for them. If I can do that, wow. So anyways, and my documentary wouldn't be out there if they didn't distribute it. So Northwest Olympics 411, knew of close grounds not getting back, and I'm brave. Knew of close grounds not going back, and I'm brave. I guess just Northwest Olympics knew of Sasquatch. You probably got close to them, and you're not going back. It's just scary. I get it. You should go back, though. They're not likely to be there when you go back, and you should go back and substantiate your encounter. Look for tracks and stuff like that. So, and as long as it's not too deep, like don't injure yourself. But if you had a sighting somewhere that's close to where you can get to, you should go back. So, and you can do it. You can do it. This is a big deal, and I would be very grateful if you went back. There you go. Do it for. I'm asking you. Go back, have a look. So, and we'd like to hear about it. BigfootEncounter@gmail.com, of course. What are the purpose of building those huge structures, the giant X's and the TPs, etc.? Any ideas? Absolutely. I believe they're responses to traumatic events. So every time something major traumatic happens, they build those structures. So I believe they build structures when two males are fighting, because that's a big traumatic event. I believe when a big D9 comes through their habitat and destroys all the trees, that's very traumatic for them. A big screaming bulldozer smashing over their habitat and destroying it, and they build them then. So and then the day I was screaming with the flare, get out of here, yeah, that was very traumatic for me and for them, I think. And they built structures that day. So that's my theory based on that knowledge and information. That's why I think the structures, the X's, no, the structures are different than the X's. The X's, in my opinion, are don't go past here. I make X's. I'll follow a Sasquatch trackway if I go to a new spot. I'll follow it when it's getting a little dicey, where it's getting pretty deep in their territory. I'll literally put an X over the trackway and say, I'm not, and then I'll turn around and go back saying, I'm not following you home. feel safe when you come around me, because then they'll come around closer because they know I am a good tracker, and they don't have to worry about me following them right home, which potentially I could, especially in certain terrains, right? If there's snow on the ground or the sphagnum moss, I can track like a monster in that stuff, right? A monster. Even that being said, though, I can't track. I'll try to track a Sasquatch. They outdo me every time. I can't tell you. There's been dozens of times where I put on my backpack and it's full of food, and I go, I'm going to the ends of the earth. Nothing will stop me from following this Sasquatch trackway, except being outsmarted by a Sasquatch, which happened every single time without exception. They totally outsmarted me, and I wasn't even close. It was a UFC championship fight, and we took a 5-year-old and put him in the ring with the greatest fighter of all time, John Jones, and the 5-year-old didn't stand a chance. That's how bad it is. That's the comparison. For me to think that I'm going to go track my teachers who are light years ahead of me in the abilities to track. I think Sasquatch, this is a theory of mine, I think Sasquatch play with other Sasquatch and try to track each other. Now you have two of the greatest trackers that ever lived growing up playing hide and seek. They're going to be, can you imagine that if I'm right? And that's very likely. These guys are clearly trackers. Clearly amazing, incredible trackers. So if they're raised tracking and hiding and playing games with each other, it takes, you know the old expression, iron sharpens iron, right? So you want to be an incredible tracker, get trained by a Sasquatch. I've seen trackers, native trackers, that are just like a whole other level above me, and it's because of their extrasensory perception. Well, let's talk about that for a minute. So left hand, heart tracking. I'm going to do this real quick, guys. So you'll see in the old videos and stuff, the natives are moving their left hands a lot. What they're doing, this is my theory, and I feel very strongly about it, the reason these native people can track you anywhere is because you leave scent particles, like a wolf or a dog or a bear can smell. I believe those scent particles have an energy, and I believe if you're in tune enough, you can feel that energy with your hand and you can follow it, the particles in the ground. So I've even had trackers tell me that the trail's too old. Maybe the scent's gone, maybe the particles are all dissipated, right? But I believe that's how they can track through rocks, through just any kind of terrain, and they can move quick just following that energy. Whereas if you're looking at tracks on the ground, you're going to lose them in the water, and, well, obviously even the scent won't go over the water, but you'll find that on the, I don't know, you figure it out, right, as a tracker. So just a couple more questions, guys. What an awesome show. I'm having a really good time talking with you guys. Cheyenne Richard, hey Todd, have you ever seen a Sasquatch den? Do you think they sleep in these, or it's some other animal? I think they do have their spots. And I have seen in my very first video 1, I don't have video 1, it's not mine. Somebody else filmed it, some jerk who was very deceitful and dishonest and lied to me. Took the video, sold it to a network, and I have no rights to it, but anyways, there was a cave there, and then the Sasquatch, it seemed as we approached the cave, the Sasquatch left the cave and ran away, which now I find out is really bad. Really bad. You don't want to disturb a species when they're, what if the young Sasquatch got sick because he was out in the cold, or they have to go to find a new place? You don't mess with animals in the wintertime. It's so hard to survive. So I feel bad that happened, but maybe the Indians learned from Bigfoot. Well, honestly, Dove Camp, I don't think that's a maybe. I think, like, Sasquatch means wild teacher, like wild master of the wilderness. You want to learn about the wilderness, learn from the master. That's the wild master, is Sasquatch. Oma, boss, right? Winchester-Tunga, tall teacher, So, yeah, and I have more information that I'm not going to talk about today, but significantly more information that shows that the Native Americans and the First Nations people, I don't even like saying that, the Native Americans, and then the Native Americans in Canada want to be called Native Americans, they want to be called First Nations people. So I do that out of respect. I'm just saying this because I bothered somebody by my terminology, but see, I'm being respectful. I wish we could all get along. But yeah, I strongly would think that they did learn that from the Sasquatch. So one more question. I see Marianne Adams. Hey Todd, have you ever explored, whoa, we're bumping around here. I'm going to settle down here. Hey Todd, have you ever explored Seymour or Whistler, or even grouse? I'm wondering if they live near my nation. Oh, I know about the Tawasin First Nation, and Whistler, yeah, they're in Whistler. I mean, they're around Squamish, and north of Squamish is Whistler. Grouse Mountain? I don't know. I've done the grouse grind. No, I don't think they're around there. But you should have no trouble going and talking to an elder about this stuff. Yeah, you shouldn't. I'm not the man you need to be asking, and just even talk to people around your reserve. So yeah, Todd ignores Ohio again in this video. Hi, Billy Hollywood. What's going on, Billy Hollywood? So if you have a question, send it to bigfootencounter@gmail.com. I answered a question from last week. And Billy Hollywood, I didn't mean to ignore you, Billy. I'm sorry. I'm trying to go through this stuff. Things are jumping around. It's hard. My apologies. Please try again. Damn, Todd follows UFC. Respect for that. Yeah, I grew up studying martial arts. Karate, kung fu, wrestling, and then kickboxing into jiu-jitsu. So yeah, I love martial arts stuff. Craig Bragg, if they can smell you, you can also smell them, right? And absolutely not. Absolutely not, Chris. The wind gauge works in the opposite of that. So if a Sasquatch is north of me and the wind is blowing south, I can smell him and he can't smell me. So that's why when deer move around, they put their nose in the wind and their ears back so they can smell what's in front of them and hear what's behind them, because you can't smell what's behind you. So that's why I tell people, if you can smell a Sasquatch, he damn well knows. He gave you the wind gauge. He's doing it on purpose. He knows he smells, and he knows that you know he's there. If you're insightful enough to realize that's a darn Sasquatch, and which most people never will. Be like, "Whoa, what's that funny smell? Sounds like there's a skunk around here." But anyways, so thank you very much for tuning in. An hour 20 minutes into the show, guys. Had lots of fun. Hey, Ontario. Chris Burden says, do you think it would be safe to say that in the near future that Sasquatch and humans would be able to be more open towards each other? Oh, Chris, that's my dream, dude. That's my dream, is to have. I could picture people going on like, how people do like religious ventures to go. I could see people going out in the bush and doing that stuff and trying to. Yeah, it's absolutely. It would be great, and that's definitely a goal of mine, is to bridge that gap. So he's actually in the basement. Yes, Sasquatchaholic, I'm coming to you from the basement. Right, I'm in the basement for you guys, so I'm right beside the modem. The modem's in the basement. I want this stream to be awesome, so it's for you guys. I come down into this. I could be anywhere, but this is the best signal. I want you guys. And you know what? I'm very unrefined. Bearded guy, sleeps in the dirt. Sometimes I have trouble sleeping on a bed. They're so darn soft, and I get used to sleeping in the dirt and on the ground. But yeah, I'm very unrefined and not a superficial guy. It's really what's deep inside that counts and matters to me. So Joey says, and have you found any evidence of them hiding in hollow trees? No, I don't have any trees where I live that are big enough for a Sasquatch to hide in. The big trees are getting so bloody rare because of all the logging, right? So, and one more, California Bigfoot territories, or Colorado Bigfoot territories, are loaded with X's and massive tree structures. This is where they can be found. That's wonderful, Joel. I have an expeditioner coming up from Colorado this year, and she's going to invite me. The deal is I take her out on an expedition. She's got 4 acres. I'm going to go back to Colorado and hang out with her in 2021, guys. So all the way through, I'm talking, maybe Florida, for sure, Georgia, and then, like I say, up through Alabama, Tennessee, Arizona, just when it's cold up here and there's snow, I'll go down in the southern U.S. and hang out. So thanks for all the wonderful comments. I'm not reading them because it's fluffing me. Efren and all these wonderful people saying, hey, thanks, Todd, and keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I read that stuff, Gina. And Billy Hollywood, hey, Todd. Efren, awesome. Thank you, Terry. So if you look back at previous episodes, you'll find your answer. So thanks so much, guys. I love doing this show. Every show, it's awesome new stuff, right? So it'll never stop. We'll do Wednesdays until I'm doing expeditions, unless I'm out in the field. I just love doing this show with you guys. You guys are amazing, and yeah. So there'll be a Throwback Thursday video tomorrow. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it'll be a Throwback Thursday, and then we'll have a weekend video. I'm calling it now, because I'm not sure I can get it up by Saturday. It takes a lot of work for me to get those done. But yeah, thanks so much, guys. So I'll be back 100% next Wednesday. So This is just me talking to you guys, me doing expeditions, me reaching out to people. This is what Todd Standing is doing right now. Thanks to you guys, I'm a full-time Sasquatch researcher. Thank you so much for your support and all the stuff you guys do. I love doing the show, and you guys are amazing. So, hey, happiest wife ever. It's been a while. So, we'll see you guys very soon.